Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a really fantastic guide, Kubernetes for Generative AI Solutions. We're going to break down how you actually take one of those mind-blowing AI demos and turn it into a real, powerful service that can handle the pressures of the real world. So, let's kick things off with a powerful idea from the book's foreword. You know, we all get excited by the cool demos, but actually putting generative AI into production, well, that's a whole different ballgame. What we're looking at here isn't just theory. It's a playbook filled with tips from the trenches, the kind of stuff that can save you from months of headaches and dead ends.
And that leads us to this really important concept the book calls the production gap. Think of it as this huge chasm, right? On one side, you've got your cool demo that works great on a single machine. On the other side is a reliable service that thousands of people can use at once. And honestly, this gap is where so many amazing AI projects just hit a wall.
This timeline here, this shows you exactly why that gap is so massive. I mean, just look at this. In only a handful of years, we went from models with a few hundred million parameters to models with, well, trillions. This isn't just a simple increase. It's an absolute explosion in scale. It's a completely different kind of beast.
Yeah, trillions. Just let that number sink in for a second. We're talking about models that have trillions of different knobs and dials. You can't just run something that complex like a normal program. It demands an entirely new level of infrastructure just to manage its immense weight.
So how in the world did the big players like OpenAI manage all this? Well, they're not reinventing the wheel every single time. They use an incredibly powerful platform to bridge that production gap. And that platform is Kubernetes. You can think of it as the operating system for the entire cloud, specifically designed to tame this kind of mind-boggling complexity. To put it simply, Kubernetes does all the heavy lifting for you. It automates the messy stuff, deployment, scaling up when you get busy, and even fixing itself when things break. This frees up developers to actually focus on what they do best, building incredible AI, not wrestling with the underlying plumbing. And this slide right here really drives the point home. Look at the difference. Without Kubernetes, you're in a world of manual chaos, high costs, and panic when something breaks. But with Kubernetes, you get a system that breathes. It scales automatically, uses resources smartly, and heals itself. It's really the difference between a fragile science project and a robust professional service. All right, so let's get into the first big pillar of this blueprint, mastering scale. This is all about tackling two massive problems at once. How do you handle those unpredictable spikes in traffic, and how do you make sure you're getting every last drop of performance out of your super expensive hardware, like GPUs?
Okay, imagine your AI app just went viral. Without Kubernetes, you're in full panic mode. But with it, a component called the Horizontal Pod Autoscaler, or HPA, just sees the surge. The system then automatically adds more servers to handle the load. But here's the magic part. When things quiet down, it automatically scales everything back down so you're not wasting money. All of this without a single frantic 3 a.m. phone call.
Now, what about those GPUs? They're incredibly powerful, but they're also incredibly expensive. Letting one set idle is like setting a pile of cash on fire. Kubernetes allows you to do some really clever things like partitioning a single GPU so that multiple different AI models can use it at the same time, safely and securely. This means you get way more bang for your buck.
And you know, using hardware that efficiently leads us directly to the next huge challenge, getting a handle on the enormous and often shocking costs of running generative AI in the real world. Take a look at this chart. It's pretty clear where the money goes, right? Storage and networking add up for sure, but compute power, those hungry GPUs and CPUs, that's the lion's share, making up a whopping 65% of the bill. So if we want to make a real dent in the cost, that's exactly where we need to focus. This is where Kubernetes becomes an absolute game changer for your budget. It unlocks some seriously powerful cost-saving moves. One of the biggest is using something called spot instances. Think of it like this. It's spare compute power that cloud providers sell off at a massive discount. We're talking up to 90% off. The catch? They can take it back with little warning. But because Kubernetes is so good at handling failure and rescheduling things, it can use this super cheap power to save you a fortune.
Okay, so for the final piece of the production puzzle, it's not enough for your AI to be fast and cheap. It also has to be production ready. And what does that mean? It means it has to be secure. It has to be highly available. And it needs to be resilient enough to handle things when they inevitably go wrong. Let's see how Kubernetes nails this.
This table lays out the disaster recovery trade-offs perfectly. You've basically got a menu of options. You can go for a simple, low-cost backup plan that might take a few hours to get back online.
Or you can go all out with a high-cost multi-site setup that can recover in seconds. Kubernetes supports this entire spectrum, letting you make the right business decision for your needs. When it comes to security, the guiding philosophy is defense in depth. There's no single silver bullet. It's all about creating layers of protection, like the walls of a castle. As you can see here, Kubernetes helps you enforce security at every single layer, from the server itself to the containers, the network traffic, and even how you handle sensitive secrets like API keys.
And that brings us right back to where we started, to that core idea from the book. Using a platform like Kubernetes isn't just about making your AI model run. It's about building a professional, scalable, and secure system from the ground up. It's about building it the right way.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty massive question. We've already seen this insane exponential growth in model size. The amazing tools we depend on today are going to have to evolve to keep up. So, what comes next? What will the next generation of cloud infrastructure even look like to handle what's coming? That's the exciting and kind of scary challenge we're all a part of now.